Okay, what's up everyone? It's story time. So, if you follow me on any of my social media platforms, you've probably seen a picture of me shirtless. I just have a fetish of posting myself shirtless. And most of you are probably astute enough to realize that I have two really large scars on the center of my chest. And I just want to share with you guys how those scars came to be and basically my experience with cystic acne. Now, unfortunately, I don't have too many pictures of the genesis of my cystic acne experience, and I don't have too many pictures of it during either, but if I find anything, I'll post it as the video goes on. This all goes back to junior year of high school. I had just moved to Lake Elsinore. During that time, I don't know what happened, but within the first semester of my junior year of high school, I started having acne. Prior to then, I actually never really suffered through any acne, whether it be just blackheads, whiteheads, or the other thing. So I was used to my skin being clear for the most part. However, I started getting these two red bumps on my chest. And I could tell that there is some form of acne, but I didn't think much of it since my experience with acne was so limited. And so it was a little painful and a little annoying to deal with at first, but I didn't think much of it. And slowly, after about 2 months, the bumps progressively got bigger and bigger. At some point, they reached the size of about, I don't know, a decent amount. It was a pretty big size. It was the one on top. I'll post a picture of my scars so you can see what I'm talking about. Finally, after about 3 months of dealing with it, it bursted. The cystic acne bursted. The skin on top basically shred off, and I was basically exposed with an open wound on my chest. And now, that was probably the most painful year of my life. However, I still love my junior year of high school for other reasons, which I won't go into this video. But just know that cystic acne and having an open wound on your chest was probably the worst thing that could happen. So little things such as putting on a shirt and taking it off became quite annoying to do, because with this open wound and flesh sticking out of my chest, if I have the shirt on and it's like breathing on that spot, like an awkward position, I would notice it throughout the day. And then the worst part was when I would take off my shirt, if it had been stuck to the open wound flesh long enough, it would have started healing and kind of forming a sort of like a scab. And when I would take off that shirt, basically I would rip off that scab with it. And so this had been going on for about a month or two. And then the second cyst, a little lower in my chest, had the same experience. It bursted. And when the second cyst bursted, that's when shit got real. Because these two cysts were actually separate from each other, at the start at least. The tears in the skin that they were forming were actually leading towards each other. So basically my two scars were slowly kind of becoming one. And just as a side note, as a kid, I wasn't very vocal about any of my experiences. So I didn't tell my parents about this. I didn't really tell my siblings. I'm sure some of them noticed. But yeah, I didn't go to my parents saying like, hey, I have this thing on my chest or anything like that, because I felt like I was going to be a bother. In retrospect, obviously that's stupid. I honestly think that was pretty naive of me, but it just shows that it wasn't my parents' fault, is all I'm trying to get across. So these two scars were on my chest junior year, and it was really painful. Taking showers was the other experience that I absolutely hated, because having the water just directly fall on the wound was just absolute torture. Fast forward to senior year of high school, these wounds have pretty much healed, and now they are the scars that you see now. However, the cystic acne began to spread throughout my body. I would have other cystic acnes on my chest, and then I started getting cystic acne on my back and on my face. On my face was probably the most annoying experience, because it just was so itchy. You can feel the heat of the acne and the blood coursing through the cysts, and it was just very unpleasant overall. However, during the past 8 years of dealing with the cystic acne, it would sort of come and go. So there would be periods, maybe 2-3 months, where you wouldn't even notice I have much cystic acne except for a few dark spots on my skin that revealed that there had been some cysts there. And then there would be periods of 3 or 4 months following that where all you saw was my red puffed up with a bunch of cysts and my upper back as well. The first time I went to a dermatologist, actually they gave me a prescription for Doxycycline. And I only took it for about a month because that's all I was prescribed. and it definitely helped. However, the side effects were really terrible at the time. I would get terrible upset stomachs, and if I had any large volume of spinach or broccoli, I would just feel terrible. And as a matter of fact, I forgot to mention this, it had been around the time that I started going whole food plant-based, so this was in 2018. However, despite the discomforts that came with the doxycycline, I did see improvements in my cystic acne occurring on my face and my upper back. And so I thought it was working. However, in 2019, the cystic acne basically came back with a vengeance, and my face was once again covered in little cysts. So I did some research, and I also found this diet known as the clear skin diet that Nina and Randa had posted, which is also based off Dr. McDougall's starch diet and blue zone research areas like that. And so I started to remove the fat from my diet and tried to limit the amount of times I ate out, because unfortunately restaurants just like to douse their food in oil, salt, and sugar. So I was just avoiding those things as much as possible. Once again, my skin cleared up significantly, and I was pretty happy with my progress. However, at the end of 2019, once again, cystic acne came back with a vengeance. And so finally in 2020, these last 2 months, I was able to get another prescription for doxycycline, which is just an antibiotic. And then I also got this topical cream for tretinoin, something like that. And it's just basically a concentrated vitamin A serum for your face. As you can clearly see before you, it helped significantly. And I think, knock on wood, I believe this should be my last experience with cystic acne. But there is no guarantees. So if you're ever curious about how I got all these scars, just blame it on the cysts. Because I don't really struggle with regular acne, like whiteheads, blackheads, maybe a little bit on my forehead and nose, but never a large amount on my face. Most of the time, if I got acne, it was cystic acne. But with good hygiene, a good diet, and these prescription drugs, I think I'm finally done with this chapter of my life. And so I just wanted to share with you guys how I got the scars, especially the ones on my chest, because most people wouldn't really think that it's a cystic acne scar, and in fact I wouldn't have thought that either. Yeah, I just don't have any shame about my scars, and I'm very open about my story. So if you're ever curious and just never had the guts to like bring it up or something, I don't blame you. I don't know how you can bring something up aesthetic related like that, but just know I really could care less. It's an unfortunate experience that I had, but it's not one that I regret or look back on with complete disdain, or like I get upset by talking about it. In fact, it kind of inspires me because it's just, a part of my history. It's a unique mark on my body that no one else can really emulate. So I'm kind of, the unique guy now. But yeah, that's my story about the scars, the cystic acne, and how I was able to overcome it, at least hopefully from now on. So thank you guys for watching. If you watched all the way till the end, I really appreciate it. If you don't mind, leave a like on the video, because that really helps me out, and I'm going to be pumping out more stories, more content about education on whole food plant-based eating, more content related to veganism, because honestly more people need to be vegan. And yeah, I guess that's all I really have to promote. If you want to learn more, there's a bunch of content that I link down in the description that you can check out, books and otherwise, that have helped me in my journey. But with that, I'll leave you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, man. Peace.
Man, y'all just don't know about this life I'm living right now, man. I'm just fucking loving life, bro. You just gotta love that life, bro.